tea plantation.
Yes.
Wonderful. Except for the driving up to the plantation was a bit scary.
I remember the time I knew nothing about Rotary and you taught me.
No, yeah, right.
Well, folks, it is the time for the meeting to start, so I'm going to briefly share my screen, and we will get things going. So we'll start with the bell. Okay, it's official now. And next, we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you could all stand, please. And Mr. Stern, I'm going to ask you to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
To the
to
flag
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks. And last but by no means least, we're going to have the four-way test. And this time, I made certain it actually was the correct four-way test. So, Claude, if I could ask you to lead us in the four-way test.
Me? Yes, I will. The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First,
Is it true?
second,
Is it fair
Is
to
it
all
all
concerned?
concerned. Third,
Will it
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
friendships. Fourth,
Will it be
Be beneficial to all concerned?
concerned. And fifth,
Have fun.
Yay.
Okay. Thank you for indulging me in our little Rotary tradition there. I kind of like that we get to do that still on Zoom. I think it's kind of fun. So thanks everyone for joining in. We have a special speaker today in Ravi Ravindran, who is a past Rotary International President and blah, blah, blah. But I will let Ron do all this in just a moment. But I am going to just tell you that I am going to put you all into mute. So if you do at some point have a question or anything, you'll need to take yourself off of mute. You can do that in the lower left-hand corner of your Zoom screen. But I'm going to turn it over to Ron. But first, I'm going to mute everyone. So then, Ron, you'll have to unmute you. Go for it. There we go.
Well, Ravi really doesn't need a whole lot of introduction to this group, I'm sure, but I will give a very brief one. Ravi is a member of the Rotary Club of Colombo, Western Province, Sri Lanka. He has been a Rotarian since 1974 and served as Rotary President in 2015-16, as well as serving as a Director and Treasurer of RI. He currently serves as trustee of the Rotary Foundation and will become chair of the Rotary Foundation on July the 1st. Ravi holds a degree in commerce and is a founder and CEO of Print Care PLC, a publicly listed company and global leader in tea packaging industry. He is also the founding president of the Sri Lanka Anti-Narcotics Association, the largest anti-narcotics organization in Sri Lanka. We are all honored to have Ravi with us this morning, so please join me in welcoming him with a big Rotary Club of Poipu Beach.
Aloha.
So Ravi, the virtual floor is yours. The floor is yours now, Ravi.
Am I audible?
There you go.
Yep. Okay. President Rick, that was a new experience, ringing that bell and so on. I never seen anything like that. And I do these Zoom meetings. You know, it's so easy for you to call someone and say, speak to us. I normally say, okay, I'll speak. That my fees are $1,000 to the foundation. I hope you send $1,000, Ron, at some point. But I'll tell you what, it's so nice to see Laura and Linda and Dell and all my old friends. I remember coming there and meeting all these people. They were so kind to me. Most of all, I'm delighted to see Ed Futa. Ed, it's been so long, and I'm not joking when I said Ed taught me the rudiments of Rotary when he was General Secretary. But before I mean, you would expect me to speak about the foundation, of course. But before I do that, I want you to allow me to preface my comments on Rotary by first framing Rotary in the current context of the situation around the world. I mean, that's the elephant in the room. Today, we are at almost 8.4 million positive cases and nearly 447,000 people dead. I mean, for literally the whole world, the coronavirus pandemic has been a life-changing event. Even if they were untouched by the disease itself, the upheaval caused by the virus will have a profound effect on many people's livelihoods and life circumstances. Some household names in business are getting crushed. Others are thriving, like Amazon or Zoom or Netflix. Still others, like a few restaurants, like my own business, we are adapting. You look at the hospitality, entertainment, travel, sports, fitness, retail, construction, they're all industries which have been severely just decimated. Some of them are going to take a long time to come back, like the airlines and the cruise ships and so on. In Saudi Arabia, the guardian of Islam's two holiest sites, the massive Grand Mosque in Mecca, is eerily empty. I mean, normally there are billions, I think, teeming during this Ramadan time. In March, the kingdom banned all pilgrimages, including the annual Hajj to Mecca, one of the 5 pillars of their faith. And mind you, this hasn't been interrupted since Napoleon's invasion of Egypt in 1798. That's how serious the situation was. On April 20th, oil became less than worthless. Can you imagine that if I had a few empty barrels at home, they would have paid me to store oil there at $40 a barrel. So generally, as never before, except I think in wartime, whole industries have shut down and consumer demand has dropped so fast. According to the ILO, they say that 1.6 billion people around the world employed in the informal economy, or nearly half the global workforce, could see their livelihoods destroyed. Yes, this virus has disrupted modern society on a scale that today's generation has perhaps never seen. The complexity is that this novel coronavirus can be a killer, or it can put a person in the intensive care unit on a ventilator facing a lonely death, or it can just come and go without leaving a mark, a sort of a ghost pathogen, more rumor than reality. 6 months into the pandemic, and scientists are still trying to get a handle on the nature of the illness. Among their lines of inquiry, are distinct strains of the coronavirus more dangerous? Does a patient's blood type affect the severity of the illness? Do other genetics factors play a role? Are some people partially protected from COVID-19 because they've had recent exposure while others are not? These are questions for which we still don't have answers. And now it's abundantly clear that the world cannot fully emerge from its current status until a vaccine is found. At this time, and then you have the anti-vaccine guys going around all over the place. At this time, nearly 115 vaccine candidates are in various stages of development. Moderna in Massachusetts, the University of Oxford, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, Sanofi from France. Merck is developing 2 vaccines and a tablet to fight COVID-19. Then you have President Xi Jinping's government, which has promised to share any successful vaccine globally. And if he succeeds, the Chinese president will wield immense geopolitical clout. Remember that. Still, the vaccine needs to be produced affordably in millions of doses, and it needs to be distributed world over. And I guess we just need to wait patiently. But of this, there's little doubt. The world is going to be very different over the next 18 months. The new normal will be an ill, more cautious, less cheerful, and a poorer world. It will be at once a mask-wearing culture, although in some countries they refuse to wear a mask, more data sharing, but also more individualistic as people and families try to protect themselves from the outside world. You know, at the end of the day, Rotary is a microcosm of the world. Thus, it cannot be any different. I mean, look at it right now. We're meeting on Zoom. It's a great concept. I mean, we never knew we could do that previously. But it's still not the same as meeting physically. It's not the same as meeting in a cocktail, not the same as meeting in a business, inviting people over, making friends, making new acquaintances. The concept of getting together in fellowship is gone. But I suspect when things come back, Zoom will become a very integral part of future meetings. We will have our real meetings, we will have our Zoom meetings. I mean, I for one will think that a lot of the meetings in Evanston can be knocked off. We can meet in Zoom, and we are doing a pretty good job even now. None of us are traveling till December. What about membership? Generally, normally, regular people must believe membership will fall. What about contributions? You've got to believe contributions will fall. There are 1.6 billion people without jobs. There was a time in March when I didn't know whether I could pay my wages. I had 700 employees whom I had to pay for with no income in March and April. But we bounced back. I mean, in 1919, after the Spanish flu, membership actually increased by 19%. In 1921, after the Great Recession, our membership increased by 26%. In 1957, after the Asian flu, our membership went up by 3%. In 2009, after the swine flu, we did not have any increase at all. But our annual giving went up 20%. So you see, Rotarians seem to have a way of doing things a little differently to normal human beings. And so maybe we will bounce out faster than the rest. And when these pandemics, epidemics happen, catastrophes, disasters happen, you will find that we react as immediate response. There's a follow-up response. There is a major response. And in almost every zone, every district, every territory, you'll find these three reactions: immediately responding to the effects, giving food, bandages, and so on; follow-up responses where you're trying to organize some money and giving; and then major responses where you're putting together a whole project, maybe through global grants, maybe through some other grants, maybe with some support from outsiders, and so on. I mean, look at foundation. The disaster response grants, we decided to put $1 million immediately and to be given out to any district which applies, one per district, $25,000 per district. It went like this. I mean, we could have done only 40, but there were over 70 or 80 applications, I think, in 1 week. Then we moved another $2 million. That means $3 million on the same principles. And you know how much we ended up doing, all in a space of 2 to 3 weeks? 210 grants at with $5.2 million outlay. How did we get 5.2 when we put in only 3? Because there was lots of DDF transfers. The money we gave for the convention in Hawaii, many of them said, give it to this disaster without taking the money back. And so we put together an extra $2 million and dished the whole thing out as disaster response grants. What about global grants? We spent in the next 2 months, 216 global grants for approximately $14.2 million. In fact, our money is exhausted. We were turning around grants in sometimes 4 days, sometimes 5 days, sometimes in 1 week. It was just phenomenal. And mind you, there's no one working in the building. Everyone is outside. And I told John Hugo, I said, you know, your people work better at home than they work in the building. They're doing such a good job. Everyone is praising Rotary Foundation at the moment. But I must say that as incoming chair of a foundation, I have a very onerous responsibility of steering our foundation at the most challenging of times. Sometimes I even worry whether I am the best person to serve in a situation like this. Should they find someone far smarter, cleverer, and more intelligent than me? So, and I've been asking, how can we make our foundation more relevant to the immediate needs and requirements? How do we strengthen the World Fund in these times so that we don't have to take actions like removing the cash match, which we have done? How can we better be attuned to today's dramatically changing environment? How do we help clubs to do projects which are more relevant to the times? And what we do to do it in a strikingly impactful manner? How do we find external partners who will fund our projects, COVID or otherwise? How do we reach out to clubs in Europe and the US, clubs who have lost many members to the virus? How can we play a significant role in the distribution of COVID-19 vaccines when they become available? After all, we are better equipped than anyone else on earth to do so, thanks to our polio efforts. How do we make sure that we raise enough money for polio and be able to take advantage of the Gates match? In fact, there is a crisis of sorts after President Trump formally announced the withdrawal of the US from WHO. And the US, mind you, your country is the single largest contributor to WHO at $400 million annually. It's a concern to me whether it will affect us. I must tell you though, although we have put polio immunization activities in a sort of a pause mode at the moment, the polio infrastructure Rotary helped build is being used to prevent the spread of COVID-19 by supporting preparedness, just as we did in the past, to respond to outbreaks of Ebola, yellow fever, and the avian flu. In many places like Nigeria, Afghanistan, Pakistan, polio staff are the ones tracing contacts and testing for COVID-19 and lots of other things. I mean, I can speak another 10 minutes on that. But you need to understand that it's still not business as usual for us, given the current circumstances. Let's not try to hide it and say everything is fine, we'll be great, blah, 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 blah. It's the same business that we always do, reaching out to people in distress. But our methodology by which we do it needs to change. Our process of preparing and delivering the project needs to change. The way we communicate what we do needs to change. Public health emergencies like the coronavirus can bring out the worst in people, but it can also provide inspiring examples of people choosing to be kind. We want to belong to the second type. Remember, every crisis has its heroes. Every disaster has its displays of selflessness and sacrifice. Every catastrophe brings forth its share of people who demonstrate compassion, courage, consideration, and even love. Firefighters race into burning buildings. Police officers place themselves in the line of fire. Soldiers march into war. And now, amidst this pandemic, healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, support staff, ambulance drivers, hospital technicians, they're all risking becoming infected themselves. They're all risking infecting their own families. They are making extraordinary sacrifices to take care of the rest of us. And I hope Rotary clubs and others will lavishly bestow on them the recognition and rewards that they so richly deserve. Situations like this also reveals the most unlikely heroes even in Rotary. I mean, yesterday, when I was in my gym in the morning, there are a couple of programs I watch, news channels I watch in the 1.5 hours I'm there, NDTV of India, Bloomsburg, BBC, Al Jazeera, which gives you the Middle Eastern news, and CNN. And I saw in one of the Indian channels, they were talking about COVID, of course, which monopolizes everything. And I suddenly see they're telling us about bodies piling up, etc. And then I see how Muslims and Hindus who have got totally different customs getting together in makeshift crematoriums. And the news announcer says, and then thankfully we have these Rotary Club people who are coming and helping us do that. And I see guys, t-shirts wearing Rotary Club in makeshift crematoriums putting bodies in. And I thought, my God, this is better than the $1 million I raised in Sri Lanka to do some COVID projects. I mean, this is, I realized I had a lump in my throat watching these guys on news. This was not advertisement. This was in the part of the news reporting big Rotary letters, carrying bodies, makeshift crematoriums. And I'm saying, what more can Rotarians do? Because there lies in each Rotarian a passion that only needs to be awakened. How do I describe to you what passion is? You know, Ferran Adria is the visionary who created the world's most famous and the most controversial restaurant called El Bulli in Catalonia, Spain. It receives up to 1 million reservations requests a year, where only 8,000 lucky ones get a table. When he was asked to describe the word passion, he thought for a moment and said, okay, when you see a glass of wine, what do you see? If you ask me, I would say I would drink, I'll see a white wine or red wine. That's about all I know. He said, I see a vineyard. I see an ingredient. I see joy. I see friends. I see celebrations. So this is the type of vision that great achievers in Rotary have. And even in these difficult days, this is the type of visionaries we need to harness in Rotary, and they're there amongst us. These are the types of Rotarians who have the vision to see what others cannot. The problems, the potential, the promise, and the purpose. All of your ideas, of course, may not work, but your passion will have a tremendous impact. I want to give you an example. Back home in my country, two of my closest friends, Abbas and Ajay, and I were having a drink, talking of the situation in our country, of children, of mental issues. Many children were affected by disabilities. One in 93 have been diagnosed as autistic. As in other developing countries, cerebral palsy affects 2 to 5% of the children. In a situation like this, we could only shrug our shoulders and criticize our government for not doing anything about it. Unlike your country, we are constantly criticizing our government. But our passion got the better of us. We could visualize a properly equipped center to treat children with disabilities. The right people were spoken to, and they became partners to our project. The University of Sri Lanka made available the land, a couple of acres. The Sri Lanka Army, we negotiated for them to build the premises, and they did it in 13 months. And we got 2 major cash infusions from the two friends of mine, Abbas and Ajay, of $1 million each. Abbas and Ajay are lousy Rotarians. They never come for meetings. They must have got letters saying they're going to get sacked 100 times. But you still need Rotarians like this who could write a check for $1 million each and say, okay, let's do this building. Rotary made available the equipment with a Rotary Foundation global grant totaling about $350,000. The building and equipping was easy. Sustainability was the key in the long term. So we negotiated a deal with the Faculty of Medicine of the university. They would absorb all the operational and maintenance costs. They would provide trained professionals in the field of disability studies and take care of the initial screening interventions. In turn, what did they get? They got a 42,000 square feet center of world class to operate from. And I would guarantee that center would compare with anything you got in your country. The center, in fact, Mark Maloney was there to open it a couple of months ago. The center already has registered outdoor patients nationwide, numbering over 5,000. All of them provided services free of charge. And now we are looking to build quarters where the mothers of these children can come and stay. All of them are provided with services free of charge. It's a remarkable project. The type of projects that the new programs of scale we are looking at next year will launch. That is, put some Rotary money, look for partners to join in so you can scale up the project to something really substantial. So I ask you to be hopeful. And I tell you that here is an opportunity for many of our members to become our heroes. I tell my company executives that we will emerge from this whole thing far better than we ever were. And I would not like Rotary also to do that. We will, of course, be measured on our ability to handle our current adversity and uncertainty. I know it's easy to say. I know it's going to be a challenge and many of us worry. But as someone said, what is the use of our worry right now? You see, as worry, I read, is like a rocking chair. You're going up and down like this, but it doesn't take you anywhere. You're still in the same spot. So I recall once a Persian king was once asked his wise men, he said, you know, what is it that would make me happy when I'm sad? And what is it that would make me sad when I'm happy? Because I don't want the extremes of both. I want to be the medium in the middle for everything. So the wise men thought for a little while, and came back and said, Your Majesty, we have an answer. And he was so impressed with the answer that he actually had it inscribed in his ring, and he wore it. The quote was very, very simple. It said, this too shall pass. So at this time, my friends, the world is in an induced coma, but it's not going to be permanently hobbled. As history has shown, it will bounce back. About a month or two ago, in only her 5th address to the nation in a long 69-year reign as monarch, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth closed her remarks with an eponymous line from Vera Lynn's best-known song, We'll Meet Again. We should take comfort that while we may have more still to endure, better days will return. We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again. And we will meet again in person, maybe in Hawaii someday. Thank you.
Thanks, Ravi. And if anyone has questions, please do unmute yourself and feel free to ask questions.
Hi, first of all, I'm Peter Stern, and I think you are the right person in the right job. Thank you so much for what you've said. I'm interested in a charity called Kiva. They do microloans. Is that something that would interest Rotary?
Is that something that Rotary would do, participate?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Lots of microloan projects all over the world.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Mark, is it?
Yes. I'm wondering if the trustees have made further progress on the environment area of focus.
So we're in the middle of a trustee meeting, and I'm not allowed to divulge anything till the meeting is over. If you ask me tomorrow night, I might have been able to give you the correct answer. But I can tell you that environment focus, we already decided we're going to have it. It was being reported at this trustees meeting whether it's going to be latched on to something else or whether it's going to be independent area of focus. And I can't divulge that till tomorrow night.
Okay. I asked Ian the same thing yesterday and he said the same thing.
So you tried a fast one on me, huh?
Okay, how about women and children? On Kauai, families are under a lot of stress because of the unemployment and being out of school, having to be home. Families are stressed on Kauai. I think they're stressed everywhere in the world now. What about women and children?
What do you mean? What about women and children? Women and children are suffering all over, just like you say. There's no one-word answer to rectify that. I can tell you it's not only women and children, men are also suffering badly at the moment. There are so many without jobs, so many wondering where the next paycheck is coming from. And as a result, families are suffering. So it's going to be a pretty hard time for the next 6 months.
I suggest more than 6 months, and I wonder what Rotary is doing about families and children. That's one of our focuses.
I think Rotary, I mean, clearly Rotary can't do everything for everyone around the world. But I know quite a few clubs and quite a few districts who are doing projects which support families and children and women.
Mike is putting together a program that we're going to be starting up talking about next month to look at addressing the issues that particularly kids are facing on our island. We have some sort of unique situations here because the economic impact of COVID-19 has been massive, given that we're so tourist-based, and kids just don't see a way out of it. So what can, we're looking at ways that Rotary can come along and help out. Do you want to talk any more about that, Mike?
Yeah, well, the program for July 8th is Kauai Kids in Crisis. And we've experienced this on Kauai several times after two hurricanes, 1982 and 1992. We had hurricanes that shut down our tourism on Kauai. Tourists went to other islands in Hawaii. Kauai was devastated for at least 3 years economically. And then sugar. Sugar was a big industry on Kauai that shut down recently, perhaps 20 years ago. And that put a lot of stress on Kauai kids. The Rotary Club of Poipu Beach puts on a Kids Christmas in conjunction with Child and Family Services. Every Christmas, hosting 100 Child and Family Service kids to a bento breakfast, Santa Claus gifting, wrapped gift, and a movie. I'm suggesting that perhaps Rotary can, we don't have to throw money at it, but if we could put two people together like Child and Family Service, the YWCA, and Holly Opio, if we can put some kids that are stressed into programs that might give them a little more self-esteem, teach them how to sail, include them in a beach cleanup, and share with them how they're helping the beach and the fish and other wildlife. If we can show the kids that they're helping somebody else, that's the best way to relieve this depressions and the stresses that the kids are under. Give them an opportunity for some activity. And Rotarians are perfect for that because we know everybody. And if we put one and one together and make two, we could help some of these kids. Even if it's only 1, 5, or 10 at a time, we can put them in sailing classes. We can put them with the Civil Air Patrol and maybe get up in an airplane. Surfrider Foundation, tag along with beach cleanup. There are other things like hula, martial arts classes that'll give these kids a little more self-respect, and it might help relieve some of that pressure. That's the gist of my program that I'm offering July 8th for our morning meeting.
Sounds excellent. Good luck.
Thank you.
I hope everyone is backing you on this and you can get leverage or influence with lots of other organizations like you just spoke about.
And Mike, this is Laura. I just want to remind you, this is the time of year where right now your clubs are getting together and putting together your district grants for those monies that you gave 3 years ago that have come back. And Mark Harbison, who is up there on the screen, is the person to help. If you can promote it, some of these things into a global grant, he will be happy to help walk you through it. We have had some really successful global grants here in the islands. So take advantage of the foundation dollars we've already given. And then of course I have to say, remember to ask your members to keep giving because that's where we'll get our money for the future. Thanks.
Absolutely, thanks Laura. And we did use our district grant last year for the kids' Christmas party. And it's, I know for a lot of our members, it's really one of the highlights of the year because going there and giving these kids a present, in some cases it is the only holiday present that they get, is a pretty profound moment. I know for me, to think of only getting one gift is sort of amazing. I mean, as an adult now, yeah, it's different, but as a kid, you look at what Christmas meant, and I just think for these kids, it's really something amazing. And Mike does a great job. And I don't know if you can get this, but if you just put a red Santa hat on him, he's a good Santa Claus.
Hey, Ray Paler, I'm nominating you for the West Side one. I'm going to do Kapaa and Princeville. I'm going to put those guys together. And what we do is we asked for $20 to sponsor a kid, and we host 100 kids. So that buys a $15 gift, a bento breakfast. And food is going to be a component of all this, because in Honolulu, they line up for miles before a food giveaway, because we're food distressed too, just like everywhere else in the world.
You mean a country like this has food problems?
Linda?
Country like yours also has food problems?
Yes, we have very
Yeah.
big food problems.
Oh, yeah.
We have
Oh.
people lining up for food distributions most every day of the week on all of our islands.
Is it because of the COVID or?
Because of COVID, because our economy is so driven by tourism, which is
Right.
now completely stopped, that our unemployment shot on our island from 2% unemployment rate to over 20% unemployment.
Oh my God, oh, that's a whole lot, really.
And actually, Ravi, I did have a question related to that. You mentioned the $5.2 million in grants for COVID-19 relief projects out to the districts. Do you see another wave of that being able to distribute to more districts? And
No,
do you have a time frame in mind for that?
I doubt it, because what's happened is this year, we actually have less dollars to give. Last year was, remember the money we give out, is 3 years after what you actually gave. Last year was the money that we had collected at our centennial year. It was very high. This year we got $12 million less. From 42 million, we have $30 million to give. So as you notice, even our cash grant on cash, 50% cash match for cash, we've reduced. So it's a full circle. I mean, you are to give in order for Rotary to give back, because the money comes from all of us. And next year is going to be hard. Plus, we know investment income is going to be down with all the stock market, all our investment returns going south. So it's going to be a hard year next year.
Thank you.
Ravi,
Yes,
is it my turn?
go ahead.
I wanted to first of all say it was an honor serving as your president, the district governor for Hawaii when you were the president of RI. You were amazing. Create awareness and take action was our theme, and we really worked on that throughout the year. And that kind of leads me to something you said, Rotarians' passion needs to be reawakened. How can we relate that into reaching out to Rotarians, and have you seen that being done, using that stimulate the passion kind of thinking? I like it, and I'm wondering if it's being awakened anywhere else.
Well, Linda, number one, create awareness, take action, I think was Frank Devlin's team. So I got to correct you on that.
What was ours?
Ours was,
Be a gift to the world.
yes.
Oh yeah, you're a gift to the world. I was Devlin's. Oh my God, I'm losing my brain.
Not only you, even I am.
I'm sorry, Ravi.
No, why do you want to? You must apologize to Frank Devlin, not me. The late Frank Devlin. I mean, we've lost two top presidents in this week.
Yeah.
Frank and Clem Renouf. And Clem was another incredible man. So how do you wake, like I said, I have two friends who are lousy Rotarians having a drink with me, and we end up with this $5 million project. So I guess each one has this dormant passion, and you need to have the key to unlock it. And different keys unlock different people. Some might get unlocked just talking to Mike. Some might be over a drink. Others would be a personal disaster. So you just need to find that particular key to unlock that person. And I can tell you, everyone has some emotion that you can awaken. I'm telling you through first-hand experience. I use emotional blackmail sometimes.
I'm sorry, what?
I said, sometimes I use emotional blackmail to persuade someone to give some money or get involved with something.
Smart. Thank you.
Okay. Ron, I'm done.
All righty. Any other questions for Ravi? Well, thank
Ravi,
you.
I want to thank
again.
you for your time and being with us tonight. And I know it was a great gift on your part because it is extremely late there. So thank you very much.
Definitely.
Great. And I'm delighted to see Ed Futa and all you other wonderful folks. See you, Ed. Take care. Bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha. Thanks
Aloha.
for Ed.
Aloha.
Thank you, Ravi. Bye.
All right, I'm going to suggest we have a little bit more time. So if we could just kind of quickly go around the room, who you are, what club you're with, and if you have anything at the district level, you know, like Naomi does. So I'll call on you guys because it's just the way that I see them on, I see y'all on the screen. So Marianne, you're up first.
Oh, Marianne Berry, Rotary Club of Ala Moana. And let's see. Yeah, I think I'm on the district Rotary Foundation committee.
I think you are too, yeah. Good deal. Laura.
Hi, Laura Steelcrest, Rotary Club of East Honolulu, and I am your District Rotary Foundation Committee Chair.
Good.
And Del.
Del Green, Rotary Club of Downtown Honolulu, and I was the chair of the convention that didn't happen.
The convention is going to happen.
Yeah,
It's
differently.
going to happen differently. Yeah, there you go. Roz. Oh, you're muted.
We're having John Germ tomorrow, so come and join us for breakfast.
There you go.
I mean, not breakfast, for whatever.
Cool. Naomi.
Naomi Masuno, Rotary Club of West Honolulu, formerly of East Honolulu. Ed, I started there with Laura. Laura was the one who kind of sparked my interest in Rotary. But District Governor-elect, so coming in pretty soon. I'm probably on all the committees. We have so much going on, and you're right, Ravi, we are rejuvenating the passion, and we see all of the opportunities to make a difference in the world, and we are doing it. Our clubs are doing a fantastic job of reaching out into our communities. So proud to be a Rotarian.
Yeah, great, thank you. And Nalani. Whoop. You're muted, Nalani.
Morning,
There you go.
everyone. Nalani Flynn from the Waianae Coast Rotary Club, and I am your district membership chair
And a past district governor.
at the past district.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you too, Laura. You too, Del. You too, Ross. Wow. Okay. Ed.
Hi. I'm Ed Futa, East Honolulu Rotary Club, and I'd like to say hi to all of my Rotarian friends there in Hawaii. Right now I'm working on, I worked on getting the Secretary General Guterres from the United Nations, who President Mark is keen on celebrating our 75th five-year relationship with the United Nations. So I've been working on getting a virtual greeting to Rotarians from the Secretary General, and I've been very successful. The staff told me that the piece got delivered last week, so we're working on those things and other things internationally with the United Nations and with our other colleagues around the world, Arab League of Nations and so forth. So you will see some of the results of my behind-the-scenes labor at our virtual convention. And I'm very sorry for Del Green, the host committee chairman, that we won't actually have an actual convention. But thank you very much, and aloha to all my friends.
Thanks. Thanks for getting that together with the UN too. That's going to be really cool. Mark Harbison this time.
Good morning, everyone. Mark Harbison from the Rotary Club of Kihewailea. Ed, in celebration of your efforts, I just changed my background to, this is a breakout session in Hamburg that Peter Kyle ran on the relationship between Rotary's areas of focus and the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. And fantastic program, and I much appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
The United Nations is the reason I'm in Rotary.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Ted.
Ted Fagel, Rotary Club of Poipu Beach. I'm also the assistant governor for the 5 Kauai Rotary Clubs and serving as the district social media chair.
Yay. So Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. Mark Merriam. Oh, you're still muted, Mark. But you're actually showing as not being muted. That's Mark Merriam.
Yeah, we don't hear you, Mark.
There we go. We'll go to Rodney, who is also muted.
There we go.
Hey, there you are.
Well, enjoying the sunset in Waimea over here.
Not bad. What club you with?
Rodney Pascual, Rotary Club of Poipu Beach. Just enjoying the company amongst people in Hawaii. This is really cool. Aloha, everybody.
I like this. This is neat. Mike Carlson.
Yes, good morning. The Rotary E Club of Hawaii, formerly at Poipu Beach, and just want to say it was a pleasure to serve as president of our club under Dell and also Ravi. They were both gifts to our world. So thank you. Thank you, Dell.
Nice. Tom.
Hi, I'm Tom Gross with the Rotary Club of Poipu Beach, and I'm currently serving as the district chair for Youth Exchange, which there is none this coming year, but we are working hard to make that happen for 21-22, and that's it.
Yeah. And thanks, Tom, for what you're doing with Youth Exchange. You know, one of the things Ravi talked about was finding people's passions. Well, Tom found his. So you're doing a really good job on that. That's really, really much appreciated. Rich Corson. I can't even see if you're trying to unmute. All right, we'll go to Mike Curtis.
Hey, I want to give a big shout out to Rick and Ted. Ted specifically for his social media that has us doing these meetings with up to 100 people. This communication is Ted's Kuleana, and he's doing a great job. Thanks, Ted, and thank Rick.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Stern.
Hi, I'm Peter Stern, Rotary Club of Poipu Beach. And I also have a big shout out to Ted and Rick. Ted has been doing shopping for us because I'm now what they call high risk. So we're self-isolating. And Ted is fabulous for us and really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, glad to help. Sandy. Oh, you're still muted, Sandy. There you go. Whoop. There you go.
Now you're on.
Yeah.
I think.
No, I think it's the microphone on her computer is not.
Something's not turned on or the volume turned down.
We heard Khaleesi though. Once again. Well, that's Sandy Matsui. And she's from one of the Rotary clubs on Oahu. I actually don't know which one. And she is our DGE. So she's going to be for the year after Naomi. Ron.
Rotary Club of Poipu Beach. And I also serve on the district foundation committee and will be the island contact for foundation, and also serve as ARRFC for Zone 26.
And what does that acronym mean?
The Assistant Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator.
Well, that was my guess, so thanks. Claude.
Good morning, Claude Thompson, former 32-year member of Rotary Club of Honolulu, and now a worker bee for the Rotary Club of Poipu Beach.
Buzz, buzz. Thank you. And Linda.
Rotary Club of Honolulu since 1987. And I made A today with Ravi, sorry, thinking that I was his governor. I was Frank Devlin's governor. And thank you, Del, for laughing and not being pissed. Oh, God, make A. But I loved it. I loved seeing him, and it makes it easy to reach out to these RI presidents past and ask them to share their inspiration via Zoom. And I know that we have another one tomorrow, Roz, right? With, who is it?
John Germ.
Yeah, John Germ.
Yeah. And for us, for our club, Ron Mabry put a lot of these speakers together, and it was very much appreciated. Thank you, Ron.
Yeah.
This has been great.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you for the meeting.
Mary Kapitsky.
Hi, I'm Mary Kopitsky from Poipu Beach Rotary, and I would be one of those bad Rotarians. But I decided when I saw the meeting and what it was going to be about that I wanted to check in, and I'm really glad to see that COVID is on our minds. Like Peter Stern, I am kind of stuck in my house because I'm high risk. So I'm interested in how Rotary, especially Poipu Beach, how we're going to reach out to the community, but in a safe way, and what we can do. You know, looking at what Michael Curtis is proposing, we've got to figure out a way to get to these kids in a way that's safe. Putting them all in a room together, no, we don't all want them to get COVID on our backs. So what can we do? Michael, let's think outside the box. Let's think, how can we get involved in a manner that doesn't risk anyone? So that's going to be something that's really, we're going to all have to think about. And this is, we're in it for the long haul. I mean, this is not going to go away tomorrow. And I'm excited to see that that Rotary is really interested.
Cool.
So that piques my
Glad
interest.
to see you here. And ironically, you're next to Sonia. And Sonia, I'm just going to say the next time there's going to be a talent show for Rotary, you want to get Mary Kapitsky on. She's got quite the voice.
Yeah, we need Mary on that. Mary is a wonderful trained opera singer.
Yeah.
Oh, good morning, Rotary. I'm Sonia Mendez from the Rotary Club of West Pearl Harbor and also assistant governor for 7 West Oahu clubs. I'm here in Wailuku, Maui for the next couple of days, checking on my sister, checking on Rotary in Maui, and, you know, snooping around.
There you go. And Nancy, I'm just going to say that cat is adorable, but okay.
She's one of my 6 foster kittens. This is Lucy. Wait, let me put her on the screen.
We can see it.
Oh.
Say hi, everybody.
Good, beautiful.
She's really sweet.
So,
oh,
Nancy,
am I on? Oh.
Yeah, what club are you with?
Good morning, Nancy Connor, Rotary Club of Poipu Beach. I have to say there's some beautiful faces I have not seen in a really, really long time. Linda and Mary and, oh my gosh, Dell and Naomi and geez, it's so good to see you. Laura, I haven't seen you guys in so long. So I'm so thankful for Zoom and to be able to see all you guys here today.
Yeah.
So awesome.
It is really nice. Yeah. Anne.
Hi, good morning. I'm Anne Tremaine with the Rotary Club of Poipu Beach.
I think I'm the first inductee that was inducted via Zoom. And I am just really thrilled to be a member of the group and looking forward to serving in many ways.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you here, Anne. And as Anne said, she was the first inductee that we did via Zoom, but she may not be the last. We may have some others coming up in the near future. So great. Emerson, you're looking a little dirty there in your profile picture, by the way. Go for it, Emerson. You're muted.
Is he on another call? I don't know.
Oh, he might be on another call. That might be what he's pointing to. Okay. Let's see, who else do we have? Jim Mayfield.
Unmute and start. Oh, maybe
there you
are. Jim Mayfield, Rotary Club of Kauai. My shout out goes to Ron and Ted and everybody at your club who, to me, amazingly has been able to reach out and get leaders of Rotary International worldwide to come speak to your club. And thinking back over what we just heard, how is it that Rotary is going to come out of this stronger than we were going into it? And I think one method is going to be, even at such point as we're all able to gather together as we have in the past, I continue Zoom. That's like last week I did my first one combined regular meeting and Zoom. But the ability to allow all the clubs to share its speakers, just like you've just done now, I think that's going to be a great benefit to Rotary, because it allows us to go to prominent leaders, whether in the state or the United States or the world, and say, you know, we have the ability, you know, to put your message in front of, you know, 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 5,000 people. So again, thank you to your club.
Yeah, well, we're glad to do it. We're happy to have had some other folks joining. It is, like Nancy was saying, it's really neat to see some of these folks because we are a little isolated right now. So. And last but by no means least, Becky.
Morning,
Hey.
Becky Fries from the Rotary Club of Poipu Beach, and I'm always the silent partner.
Well, yeah, and thank you again all for joining us. We've had some really pretty awesome speakers, I'm going to say, and so I just want to acknowledge again, Ron, for getting these speakers together for us. This has been really a huge boon to our club. As Jim mentioned, we have recorded all of the last sets of speakers, and they are on our YouTube channel, because we do have a YouTube channel. So if you are interested in seeing all the videos, you can just send me an email, or you can just go out to YouTube and search for Rotary Club of Poipu Beach. But with that, I will call an end to the meeting. We'll do the, and thank you all for coming.
Thanks,
you.
President Greg.
Aloha, everyone.
Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted.
Aloha, Poipu.
Bye-bye.